You're muted.
I'll just say the sun has the sun's come out. So after a day of rain, we're going to have a lovely Shabbat, hopefully. And now we're going to start with a Devar Torah from Rabbi Black. And this is the last Zoom before Rosh Hashanah. So here we go. Over to you, Rabbi Black.
Thank you. I mean, I didn't notice it was raining today. Has it really? I really haven't noticed it.
Okay, well, it's over now.
Okay. Actually, no. Maybe I was just too busy doing other things. So, just a hasty few thoughts. I just want to share these ideas with you. And it's going to be short and sweet, nothing too long, nothing too heavy. And by the way, the Sedra of Atem Nitzavim is also short and sweet. If you put them individually, they become the smallest Sidrot in the Torah. But if you put them together, they become the second shortest Sedra in the Torah. So it's nothing really much to miss there. But it's actually quite interesting. You should have a look at Shlishi. It's so long, Shlishi. But it's interesting to know. It's always read on the Shabbat preceding Rosh Hashanah. Have you noticed? Always read that way. There's always this break between Parshas Kitofo last week and Rosh Hashanah, which is next week. And Nitzavim-Vayeliech, sometimes Vayelech comes in the Aseret Yemei Teshuvah, and sometimes it depends how it fits in. But almost invariably, and if I'm wrong, please come back to me on this, almost invariably, and it could be invariably, you'll find Nitzavim always comes before Rosh Hashanah. That's a quite interesting thing. And I've said this before, and I think it's quite an interesting point. And that is that last week we read the Tochacha, which is the admonition. We're told all the klalot, all the different curses. And I'll say that in order to make a break between the curses of last week and Rosh Hashanah, we have Nitzavim always before the festival. So we always have that as a break. And I think it's very interesting. In order that, Kedei, as the Talmud says, Kedei shetichle shana uklaloteha, which means in order that the Torah, that the year should end together with all its curses. By the way, the same thing applies for let's have a look at it. The other part of the year, which is Shavuot, Atzeret, which is called Atzeret in the Talmud. And there it says that Kotai, the Chukotai, is always read on the Shabbat, the two Shabbatot, before Shavuot, which is a Chag Matan Torah, in order that the Klalot, which are in Bechukotai, there's this break. So just like you have a break, and you have, in order that you have all the klalot ending before Rosh Hashanah, you also have the same thing, the klalot ending before Shavuot. You have a new year. And it's interesting to know, it's not just klalot. I'm just going to have a look at this particular year. And if you go back at this year, I am reminded of the Queen, Zichron Livracha. And the Queen, when she had a really bad year, I think it was in the 1990s, big problems, and there was a lot of problems. There was a fire, Windsor Castle, if you remember that particular year. And she had a lot of problems with Diana and also Charles and all these different things. So she uses the term annus horribilis. You remember that? Annus horribilis. He said, it's just been a terrible year. And when I think of it about this past year, I'm not saying that on an individual level, everybody has a different thing, but for a national level, for Israel, it's been a really difficult year. A year which contained October the 7th, which was terrible, a pogrom of terrible proportions, and that which came out from that. And I just feel that it's something that we should be thinking about, that we want those klalots, those curses should end, and we should go into this new year with just brachot, with just blessing. That's my first thoughts on that. Now, I also I think there's more than that, because if you look at Parshat Nitzavim, I think there's a deep connection between Parshat Nitzavim and Rosh Hashanah, and there's lots of them, but I'm only going to mention one particular connection that we see between Atem Nitzavim and Rosh Hashanah, and that is the first few words. It says, Atem Nitzavim Hayom Kulchem Lifnei Hashem Elokechem. You are standing today, all of you, before the Lord your God. And it says, Roshechem Chiftechem, the leaders of your tribes, Ziknechem Veshotechem, your elders and your officers, Kol Ish Yisrael, all men of Israel, Tapachem Neshechem, your children, your wives, Begercha Asher Bekeret Machanecha, and your convert who is in the midst of your camps, Mechotevet Secha, from the wood chopper or until Ad Shoev Memecha, until the water drawer. Every single one of us are gathered together. That's in Hayom today. And look at that wonderful unity. All Israel is united together. And what brings them together? It's Lifnei Hashem Elokechem. We come together as one because we know that we are standing before the Lord your God. Rashi says that Hayom today, when was this? This was the bris, the covenant between Hashem and Yisrael. And when did this happen? Shekinsam Moshe Lifnei Kodesh Baruch Hu b'Yom Moto. That Moshe gathered together in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu before his death. He's about to die, and it's just about to be the day of his death, and therefore Moshe just gathers them together to give them these brachot. And he's also there to pass on the baton to his trusted servant Yehoshua, and therefore gets them together. But on a deeper level, the Hasidic Sefarim, they say that Hayom today is speaking about Rosh Hashanah. And Hayom today is a recurring theme that we have within the Torah. Every day we recite the Shema morning and evening, and we say these words: "V'hayu adnim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavacha hayom ala vevecha." And these words, which I'm commanding you, Hayom, today, on your heart. And Hayom is in that instance, Rashi says that Hayom is Shayu Divrei Torah Chadashim Kayom Mitna, that the words of the Torah should be renewed like the day it was given. He means to say the Torah might have been given 3,500 years ago, but look at the words through fresh, new, innovative eyes, Hayom, and as if it has been given today. And that is the idea of the Shema. On the Shema, he says, don't let it be an old document, like an old document, but let it be something new. It should be something new. And later on in the century, we also come across this again, this concept of Hayom, where it speaks about, for example, it talks about Ki mitzvah hazot, for this command which I am commanding you today, it's not wondrous for you, and it is not far away from you. And there's a little machlokes, a little argument between Rashi and Ramban. Rashi says that Ki mitzvah hazot, that mitzvah that it's referring to at that particular point is referring to the mitzvah of Torah, studying Torah, and some people get it in their mind that this mitzvah is far away, it's difficult. And Ramban says, no, it's actually referring to the mitzvah of teshuvah. And you look into the context, you look into the pasukim over there, the verses, and you work it out. What is that particular tukum? But there it says, Ki mitzvah hazot asher anochi mitzavacha yom, this mitzvah which I'm commanding you today. And furthermore, the Torah also says at the end of the Sefer, he says, today I'm giving you today et ha'chaim v'et ha'tov, life and goodness, et ha'mavet v'et ha'ra, the death and evil. And this is talking about, of course, the whole concept of bechira chofshis, of the freedom of choice, the freedom to choose, freedom to choose between good and evil. And the Torah then says, Ubachalta b'chaim, choose life. So on Rosh Hashanah also, this is the theme that we have throughout Rosh Hashanah, Hayom, today. The Piyut, after Tekiyat HaShofar, says, Hayom Harat Olam, today is the creation of the world. Hayom Ya'amid B'Mishpat, today we stand in judgment. It's all about today. And at the end of Musaf, we all sing in our lovely little tune that we have, Hayom, 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 Hayom Ta'am Seinu, Hayom Tavachenu. Today we should have the blessing. So the message is Hayom, today. Don't put it off. We always have this idea in our lives that, tomorrow I'll be a better Jew. Tomorrow I'll do a little bit extra. The message is Hayom, today. And that's what we say in the Shema. Hayom. Today it's going to be Al Levavcha. And not only that, I am commanding you today. It's not that Hashem is commanding us at this particular point, but we have to look at this as this it is today. Today, it's the time that we need to change. And with that, we should come to Rosh Hashanah with hopefully this year, which will be full of bracha, of blessing for all Israel, for individually and collectively. And we should all have a kativa v'chatima tova, when we be written and inscribed for a healthy and a happy new year. V'gashmiut u'v'ruchniut gam yachad. Materially first, and spiritually, because if you have the material, then you can also have the spiritual, gam yachad, together. Amen.
Amen. Shakarach, Rabbi Black. That was a great inspiration. Never put off for tomorrow what you can do today. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Now I have to work out what I'm going to say tomorrow.